Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 Volume 2 career mode here on the channel. Today we are headed to Kansas Speedway for the middle race of the round of 8. Nobody locked into the Final Four as of yet, but Christopher Bell, Brand Keselowski, Kyle Busch, and Kyle Larson all above the cut line with Logano, Hamlin, Elliott, and Kurt Busch all on the outside looking in, with Logano being the closest, 13 points below that cut line. The final 3 races of, we will call this now the middle career mode here for NASCAR Heat 5, because we had the original career mode, we have this Volume 2 career mode, and then we're going to have the brand new one with the 2022 DLC. That will be a brand new beginning that I'm very excited for, and hopefully be a very long journey with that career mode here. Now, as we come through and qualifying with this Flow Racing Machine, fresh off of our win in Texas, a bit of a Mickey win, but we start P28 here in the Hollywood Casino 400 with a 32.081, so not the best qualifying effort in the world here. As you can see the rest of the qualifying order on your screen, we'll see where some of these round of 8 competitors stack up here now, but just think about it, we could have been locked into the Final Four after that win in Texas in the last episode. Instead, obviously, we're not even in the round of 8 to begin with after getting eliminated at that Charlotte Roval in the round of 12. But up front, you can see it's Chase Elliott and his Hendrick Motorsports teammate of Kyle Larson on the front row. Cole Custer up there in the top 5 along with Alex Bowman as well. But big things already. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch both have had issues. One fails technical inspection, Hamlin. Kyle Busch has an unapproved body modification during qualifying. Both the Joe Gibbs Racing drivers sent to the back of the field. They, of course, need as many points as they can get. So as we're getting ready to go green for stage 1, you can probably write them off for stage points here as we are underway for this Hollywood Casino 400, right behind that number 20 of Christopher Bell. The last episode, we didn't have the best race going for us at Texas Motor Speedway, but we used strategy to our advantage, and we were able to actually win the race by basically coming in to the pits and barely stretching it on field, while the AI, they stayed out, and then they couldn't make it on field on that final stage, and that allowed us to win that race. And I'm feeling like, honestly, we're going to be in a relatively similar scenario here today at the mile and a half of Kansas, where we're probably going to struggle here as well, especially when you got a rival of Eric Jones running into the back of you down into turn 3. But I'm expecting to struggle again here in Kansas, and immediately we're thinking already, okay, can we repeat what we did in Texas? The only way you can repeat what we did in Texas is you get a perfectly timed caution. That's what happened in Texas. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. You get that caution at the absolute perfect time to where you can pit the AI. They sometimes aren't smart enough to pit, and you can take advantage of it, and that's exactly what we did there in Texas. You can see now Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, lap 3. They're working way through the order here. We were 4 wide briefly there, making some movement forward, but you can already see there is definitely a, for sure, lack of pace in this car as we actually get in the outside wall there on the exit of turn 2, lap 4. Here comes Eric Jones, our rival again, who's going to run directly into the back of me instead of taking that momentum around me to, gain the position, but he's going to dive up the inside here. Chase Elliott continuing to lead, and I could run the inside, but I found with the lack of pace in this car that if I jump down to the inside, I go even slower than I do when I'm up here on the outside here, because you can see when I'm on the outside like this, there is momentum in this car, especially on the exit of the corners, but it just doesn't go far enough to really carry this car anywhere. So it was not looking good for us already. P33 on lap 7, as you can see Cody Ware, Eric Jones all around us, Daniel Suarez just up in front now, but we just continue committing to this outside, hoping that it's going to kind of work out, and as the tires wear, maybe we will get a little bit more of an opportunity here now as we're going to go around to the outside of Suarez after passing the 51 of Cody Ware. This is to break into the top 30. It was a pretty rough start here as we're side by side with the Trackhouse Racing 99 Good Sam Chevrolet Camaro. Eric Jones once again in the mix, and I cannot stand when you have to battle a rival for this first stage here at any point in the race, of course. And one thing I'm looking forward to with the career mode reset with that 2022 DLC is simply the fact that we won't have Eric Jones to deal with anymore, but obviously nothing quite as bad as dealing with Joey Logano as a rival. But I'm very curious to see when we get the 2022 DLC, that's a career mode that I'm hoping to take just as long as the original career mode that we had for, basically a whole year. So I'm very curious to see what kind of mischief we get into with, making rivals and whatnot. I'm working on storylines and whatnot for that career mode. I can tell you right now that it's going to be pretty cool, and there's going to be a couple other games actually incorporated into it, and you as well see some stuff from my iRacing career mode that you're going to see in that Heat 5 2022 DLC career mode, as well as the caution comes up for the first time here today. Couldn't find what brought out the caution, but it's still the same up front. Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson running P1, P2, looking like they are showcasing the most speed of anybody in this 40 car field currently here, as we would pit for 4 tires, 2 cans of fuel. Nothing we can really do in terms of of a creative strategy on this one now, as it's only going to be 2 laps to go here in stage 1. Running in 31st place. It's not been a good stage for us here, and it's kind of setting the tone for the rest of this, race here. So when we get to pit again, I bet you everybody's going to pit actually at the end of this stage, even though it's only 2 laps, but that will make sure everybody can make it to the end of that second stage on field. So I would imagine everybody's going to come to the pit lane, including myself here. Maybe we can look at making a couple of small adjustments, like wedge. The car felt a little bit tight here, as you can see when we'd go into the entrance and center of the corner. The looseness would kind of pick up right here on the exit, but it got kind of tight through the center specifically, so I was looking at maybe adjusting that, as well as adding some grill tape to the front grille to try and get a little bit more top end speed out of this car. But Chase Elliott on the exit of turn 4 is going to win stage 1 in dominant fashion. I think he led every single lap of this first and opening stage, so that's 19 laps led to his day. P29 for us, so hey, we at least got a top 30, but it's certainly not looking very promising for us here today in Kansas. Sure enough, everybody is coming into the pit lane, including myself here, so we're going to take some fuel, tires, slight adjustments. I can confirm I would turn the wedge down a little bit by a couple clicks, and I would put the grill tape up by a click or two. It's about 50-55% at this point here now, as we were back underway here from Kansas Speedway. Stage 2 is underway now. Eric Almirola on our inside there, and that number 10 Smithfield Ford Mustang, and here comes Eric Jones up our inside. It wasn't a great launch off the restart for myself. Only 17 laps actually in stage 2. Now I'm starting to think we might have actually been able to make it to the end of stage 2 without pitting. Now when I see it's only 17 laps, and we had, I think, 18 laps of field in the car when the caution came out for the end of stage 1, so we might have made a bit of a mistake, or a missed opportunity I should call it, because it's not necessarily a mistake, but definitely a possible missed opportunity here. Now as you can see, Chase Elliott leading the way on the exit of turn 4, and he has been in dominant form so far. Kyle Larson though has been right there with him the whole way through, and you look at Chase Elliott, he's below the cut line. He's trying to win himself into the Final Four. Kyle Larson, he hasn't won all season long. How about that? Larson hasn't won a race this season and has been looking to take the lead here over the last few moments on Chase Elliott. He would love to win himself into the Final Four. Austin Dillon though would actually go to the front of this grid here on lap 6 of the stage, and you can see things getting a lot more separated for myself here. We continue running in P29 behind Eric Jones. I would run him down here now, as I go up the inside, side by side. Only 8 laps to go on the stage. Kyle Larson now leading this race actually. It looks like Elliott falling off here as stage 2 goes on. Some contact right there with the 43 of Jones, who tries to put me on the apron. That shoves me all the way up the track after the contact. We make more contact here down the back straight away. We are beating and banging, but we do get clear of that 43, who tries again to go up my inside in turn 3, but we would be able to hold on from that point on. An absolute dogfight here for 28th place on the grid, which is kind of embarrassing here. Now it's actually on the exit of turn 2 behind us there. You saw a car on the outside wall. It was Timmy Hill, who had blown what appears to be a right front tire. Goodyear being the best this year in real life, and of course is seeing a showcase here in NASCAR Heat 5 as well. I decided to make a risky strategy call. It worked last time in Texas. Can we do something that works for us here today in Kansas? I stay out. I take the lead of this race. Am I expecting to win stage 2? Absolutely not. However, we have a 2-lap dash. Well, what happened after the last 2-lap dash during the stage? I pitted again, so we could get a bit of a reset, even though we start this restart on a disadvantage. Austin Dillon, our teammate, loses the spot there. Kyle Larson up the inside behind him now into my rear view mirror. He's looking for the stage win and 10 points as well. The playoff points now no longer matter that you gain in this round of 8. It's all about those stage points. How many stage points can you get? Larson up my inside here as we head down into turn 3. Here comes Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin as well. Larson's going to breeze by on the inside, and so is Hamlin. Logano's going to look up the inside as well. I'm trying to stay out of the way, at least on the exit of the corner, to not impede the championship playoff battle that's happening around me. Look at these drivers breezing past with Elliott and Harvick and Truex, and Logano again going to take an attempt as this final lap is underway here down into turn 1. The only way this strategy is even going to work for us is if everybody pits here at the end of stage 2, which I'm assuming is going to be the case. Christopher Bell up my inside now as we head down this back straightaway into turn 3 and 4 for the final time. Austin Dillon, our teammate, up the inside, 3 wide here as we just stay to the outside, let things play out. Kyle Larson is going to come through to win stage 2 over Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott, and we're going to cross the line not quite inside the top 10, but P14. But let's see if everybody's going to pit here. That's what's going to make or break this strategy, and everybody is staying out, so that absolutely ruins the strategy, and it ends up not being worth it whatsoever. So, getting ready for the third and final stage here now, all the way from the back of the grid. It's going to be about 25 laps to go in Kansas Speedway. A green flag pit stop could be necessary. It really just depends on if we get a caution or not, but we know the likelihood of a third and final stage running green the whole way in NASCAR Heat 5 is very, very slim, but it is possible, so never say never. We'll have to wait and see what happens here now, as I'm going to look to the outside of that 38. Now we only have about a 2-lap tire advantage on these drivers, so I don't really think we're going to be able to capitalize on very much here against these AI drivers. So I would assume we would probably get up to around that 30th place area, and then we're probably going to level out again here, because we just know we haven't had the pace in this car today. It's not been going well, and we're going to need a perfectly timed caution again. Like if a caution came out right now, I'm coming into the pits and I'm going to put some more fuel in the car, put some tires on, and try to make it to the end of this race. But it's all about will that happen, and it wasn't happening here. Now Chase Elliott actually back out in front of this race now as we come through to lap 51, 17 laps to go, running about P31, and sure enough, like I had kind of guessed it, we had kind of leveled out right around this 31st, 30th area here, behind the 14 of Briscoe, 3 wide around the outside of the 78 and the 96 of McLeod and Ty Dillon, and we continue to make this outside work. And speaking of continuing, Chase Elliott continues to lead this race, looking like he might win his way into the final 4, being the first driver to do so here now as we continue battling with these drivers. But look at there at the track map, Kyle Larson would take the lead here with a little bit over 10 laps to go. You see me backing out of it there, trying to get to the inside. I decided we're going to pit it a little bit early here and hope. I basically am just trying strategy calls. I'm hoping that a caution comes out when I enter the pit lane. So 3, 2, 1, caution right now, please. The caution, though, did not happen. So we come in for 1 can of fuel, right side tires, and the caution never came. So the strategy that we hoped that would work does not work again, and now we'll have to wait and see where we cycle out here. Joey Logano actually to the lead of this race, but that was because the pit cycle was kicking off. Kyle Larson was looking like he was probably going to be leading if he had a smooth pit stop, but look at this, we are 8 laps to go. We might go the whole third and final stage without a caution in a race where I really did not need that to happen here, but Kyle Larson would retake the lead of this race here after the pit cycle had run its course, and I'm getting passed left and right by faster cars like my teammate of Tyler Reddick here. I believe they took 4 tires, so they were behind us, so we were P26, but like I said, there was cars passing us left and right. The next one was going to be Alex Bowman. Then you got the number 1 car of Kurt Busch on the way, and Kurt Busch has had a terrible start to the playoffs, qualified on pole in Texas, and it was all downhill from that point on, and here he is now running in the mid-20s again. He is going to have to win in Martinsville. That's going to be his only option, and I don't see that happening considering his record this season, but never say never. Kyle Larson, though, had made it to the final lap in Kansas Speedway. We are hanging on. We did get passed by Briscoe, Blaney, all those guys, and we were P29 as we were starting the final lap here in Kansas. But Kyle Larson, who hasn't won all season long, has survived to the round of 8, and he is going to come through the trioval to win for the first time this season in Kansas. Kyle Larson has advanced into the final 4 here as we exit turn 2 down the back straightaway for the final time, closing in, by the way, on Briscoe. We have been reeling him in over the last few laps, but we still need a couple more laps before we would be able to do anything with that number 14 car. A frustrating, just not good day here. The pace was never in this car, and it showed. It's going to be a top 30 finish, but that's certainly not what we were looking for. P29 in Kansas. A very overall disappointing day here, as you can see the rest of that finishing order on your screen, and you can see where some of these round of 8 drivers end up finishing there. Christopher Bell with a 10th place finish, Kyle Busch 11th, Hamlin in the top 5, Logano, Elliott as well, and Kyle Larson with the win. And we'll see exactly how this affects the playoff grid immediately here before we end this episode there, as you can see a couple other playoff grids as well. But look at this, Larson advanced, but look how tight it is now going into the final race of the round of 8. Keselowski and Ballard good by 8, Elliott good by 5, Kyle Busch, Logano, Hamlin, Kurt Busch all on the outside looking in. But look at that, it's only 8 points for Hamlin behind, so it is up for grabs for 2nd through 7th. Kurt Busch has to win. Other than that, anybody could advance, anybody could get eliminated other than Kyle Larson. That's going to do it for me. If you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Those would all be so appreciated. I will see you guys in the next one for the penultimate episode. Have a great day, everybody.